Hello, and welcome to Accounting 240, Taxation 1. I'm going to take a few minutes now to introduce you to the course and run you through the course outline. So you might want to have that in front of you before you proceed with the video. Well, folks, like it or not, taxation is something that affects all of our lives here in Canada until the moment, and sometimes actually even after, we die. This course serves as an introduction to some of the broader concepts in taxation and how it relates to everyday life and decision making. The course will focus primarily on personal tax paid by individuals, or human beings as we like to call them. Corporate tax is discussed in future courses. Before we get started and talk about the horrors of tax, I thought I would introduce myself. Look, it's me, I'm Ryan. I'm a CPA and I'm also a CA. I became a CA in 2005, and then I became a CPA in 2013 when all the three accounting designations merged together. Exciting, I know. That's my telephone number in the office, but I wouldn't bother try calling it this semester because nobody's on campus. That's technically it if you want to leave me a voicemail, which I'll never check, so knock yourself out. That's my actual office out on the interurban campus. There's not going to be anybody there either in all likelihood, but hey, if you want to slide a pizza under my door, that's my office number. Email. So this is important. You guys are going to want to contact me via email throughout the semester, I have to assume, if you're having any issues. I really encourage you to email me. That said, when you're emailing me, there's probably some Outlook email address that you might have kicking around somewhere, and that's fine. You can send me an email there, but I'm not going to see it as quickly as I would see it if you emailed me directly through D2L. D2L is how I keep in touch with all the students. The Outlook address, sykesr@camosun.bc.ca, if you must know it, is how the administration, management, other faculty, administrative staff, how they get in touch with me. And those are the people that I'll ignore. But you're the people I want to talk to, so email me through D2L and you will get a fast response. Office hours. Hey, guess what? There's no office hours this semester. Not officially anyway. Now that doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to contact me or we can't have some office hours. I'd like to do some virtual office hours. The problem I've had in the past is that I hold them and nobody shows up. So I'm going to try them and we'll see what happens. I'm not going to require that anyone come to office hours, but if you want to talk to me, that's a great way to do it. LinkedIn. Do you want to add me to LinkedIn? It's probably a good idea to add your instructors to LinkedIn. So yeah, you can add me to LinkedIn if you want. Just look me up. It's my name. I'm a CPA, CA. You'll probably find me in there pretty easily. It's the same stupid picture as I've got up here of a much, much, much younger version of me. Hey, do you want to add me to Instagram? I don't know why you would. I have no idea, but sometimes people do. Sometimes students say, what? You're on Instagram? You can't be. You're an old man. Yeah, whatever. I'm on Instagram if you want to follow me. That's my handle right there. So knock yourself out, I suppose. Okay, let's get back to the tax part. The number one question we receive as instructors before the semester starts is, what text do I need? Well, you don't need one. The instructors here at the college have developed a comprehensive course pack that's found on D2L. The course pack is updated annually as taxation is a fairly dynamic subject. Tax law changes every year, and with that comes changes to our Income Tax Act and your materials. All the course content will be delivered on the D2L website, so it's worth spending 10 minutes or so navigating the site and figuring out where everything is. Later in the course, you'll be working on a project where you complete a T1 personal tax return. Tax software will be provided for this project and it will be submitted in D2L. More on this project in the coming weeks. All right, course evaluation. Fairly straightforward here. We've got 3 short projects which you'll submit via the D2L assignments tab. And this is going to make up about 10% of your grade. Now, the most time-consuming element of the course, probably the most practically applicable, is going to be this T1 profile project that I talked about before. You're going to prepare and submit a full personal tax return for a fictitious client. We're going to have one midterm worth 35%. We're going to have one final exam worth 45%. The final exam is going to be cumulative, meaning that any topic covered throughout the course is going to be fair game. Emphasis is going to be on material covered after the midterm, but that certainly doesn't mean that material prior to the midterm will not be evaluated. Are there quizzes? Well, sure there are, but they are in fact optional. You can find these in D2L under quizzes, and the material is going to be based on the current readings in the course pack. Now, being optional, I should say, the quizzes really exist to give you a gauge for how well you're understanding the material. You can feel free at any time to email me regarding questions that you might have about quiz content. And while you don't have to do them, they will certainly be helpful practice come exam time. So I would highly, highly recommend that you at least attempt them. Let's talk about videos, everyone. So most weeks are going to have supplemental video content, hopefully an abundance of supplemental video content for you to be able to watch and pause and rewind and go over as many times as you want in pertinence to specific issues that have come up for that specific week. Now, here's my recommendation for the videos. They really are meant to be watched after you do the assigned reading. I recognize that many people prefer a more passive form of learning, which is to watch videos. I would really recommend reading the assigned chapters in the course pack, then watching these sweet, sweet videos, and then attempt the problems in the course pack. That to me is the best way to do it, but I'm not going to force you into learning in my specific manner that I prefer. Now, the videos that I'm creating aren't necessarily meant to be specific lectures. They're lecture-like in nature. You could consider some of them lectures, I suppose. But they're largely going to walk through some practice problems. There will be some concepts in there as well, and hopefully they're fairly comprehensive, and my goal is for them to be helpful to you. So my advice, read the course pack, watch the videos, then attempt those problems. Now, I will say that I don't think that just watching the videos, those of you who love to watch videos, who can blame you? How exciting is this video? But I don't think it's just enough for you to watch the videos and actually do well in the course. There's really no way that's going to happen. I think it's going to be helpful to watch these. I really want to emphasize the best way to succeed is to do as many problems as possible. And hopefully these videos will be helpful. Now, I do want to say that if there is a problem or topic that you don't think I've covered adequately in the videos, I can easily bang out a few more videos. So if I get an email or a request on a discussion board to cover a specific problem in the course pack via a video, I'm happy to do that. I don't have videos for every single problem right now, but hey, maybe I can build a library. So reach out to me and say, hey, it would be helpful if you went through this problem if it's something that we don't have time to cover, and I'm happy to do that. Okay? Yay. Hey, are we getting together each week? Well, up to you, really. I'm going to be holding these weekly get-togethers. I don't know if I want to call them lectures. My plan isn't specifically to lecture. I can't really lecture the entire course content. In a 2-hour span on a weekday, I will maybe highlight some of the most important topics. I might run through a problem. I'm especially keen to run through a problem that people may have asked me to do in advance, but it's going to be largely unstructured. So keep that in mind. They're going to be at 12:30 p.m. on Thursdays each and every week of the course. Now, attendance here is optional. I'm really not going to keep track of who's showing up to these things. That's way too hard to do, and I don't want to baby you. I really don't. I think it will be valuable for you to come and maybe listen to what I or others in the course have to say, but you're grown-ups, you can make your own call. So like I said, not really lectures per se. I really want to use this time to cover a couple topics that I think are maybe interesting, and maybe field some questions if that's a possibility, depending on what kind of software we end up using. Probably it'll be Collaborate, I'm guessing. That's the only one I really am adept with at this point, and I don't think we're allowed to use Zoom, but let's see how it goes, right? I will provide more info in the future. So yeah, look, these meetings are meant for the students who are registered in the blended section. That's why I'm holding it at 12:30 Tuesdays. That's the time that shows up on CamLink. Those of you who are in the asynchronous section and you would like more instruction, well, that's great. You can show up to these. That's fine with me. I'm not going to limit the number of people that can be there. But again, I'm not monitoring this. So if you want that, that's great. I'm going to record all the sessions so that if people miss them or they want to go back and listen to them later on, they can do so. Now, one caveat with that is that If nobody shows up, then I end the meeting. I'm not just going to sit there and ramble on to myself. So if people want there to be something to actually watch, what others need to do, or yourself need to do, is take it upon yourself to actually show up. You show up, ask a question, be in any way engaged, and that will sort of generate this meeting, and I'll record it. But if nobody's there, I don't really have much to talk about, and so I'll just go do whatever it is that I'm doing. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So I really want to encourage people to show up to these. I think they could be valuable. Problems, problems, problems. Who can sleep with all the problems in the world? Well, hopefully you'll get some good sleep after practicing these problems. The course pack for Accounting 240 has loads of problems at the end of the chapters so that you can practice and practically apply the skills that you have no doubt picked up following the reading. My advice is to attempt that problem and then check out the solution and compare your work. I often find that students like to do the problems with the solution right next to them. I don't find that super great for learning. So your best bet, try that problem out and then compare it to your own work. They really are the best way to prep yourself for the exams. I'm not going to try and surprise anyone on the exams. Surprise! Here's something you've never heard of. No, of course I won't do that. The exams are going to look similar to what you see in those practice problems. So if you've done a lot of them and you've done them repeatedly, I think you're going to do super great on that exam. Some more advice I would have for you in relation to those problems is that once you've done a problem, and then you go and look at the answer, you can look at it and say, I didn't do so hot on this. Okay, well, I'll do better next time. Hey, if you want to do better next time, Billy, correct those mistakes. Fix it on the spot. That gets some, at very minimal, some muscle memory, quote unquote. I guess your brain's a muscle, I don't know. And you'll just get used to having written down the problem in a correct fashion. I think that it's very helpful to correct your mistakes, and I highly encourage you guys to do that. You'll be completing 3 short projects throughout the course, which will be submitted for marks. Now, these assignments are going to make up a total of 10% of your grade, and they involve preparing various common tax forms and returns. Now, I don't really detail mark these projects, but will mark them based on your having made a reasonable attempt at all parts of the project. The project will be fillable PDFs and submitted in D2L by the deadlines. The deadlines for this term are indicated in the course calendar in D2L. The solutions will be provided as soon as the deadlines pass, and you'll be expected to compare your own submission to the solution and self-correct your own project on your own time. Please note, any late submissions are not going to be accepted for any reason. Keep that in mind. Now, I'll briefly touch on the tax return project right now, but I will return to it in future weeks and give you a further update. So later on in the semester, you're going to be completing a personal tax return using professional tax software that we're going to provide you access to. The project is worth 10% of your overall final grade, and accordingly, I am going to detail mark it for accuracy. There's going to be more information about the project and how to obtain the software, and I'll release that later in the coming weeks, but right now we're going to keep it pretty high level. I don't want to overwhelm you and scare you away before we're even done with the course outline. In this course, there will be one 2-hour midterm, and it's going to be in week 8 on October the 29th at 12:30 p.m. This is regardless of which section of the course you are in. The midterm exam will be held at that time. The midterm exam will be on chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 of the course pack and all related problems and video content. The final exam, which we don't know the time or the date, but we know that it will fall during the exam week, which this year is December 14th through December 22nd of 2020. So the exams have to be written on the dates scheduled. They have to. There are not going to be any exceptions. I can't offer multiple exam dates due to the nature of online learning. Now, if you can't make it to this specific time, if for some reason you're not able to write the exam at this time, you really need to sort of have a discussion with yourself right now about whether or not you can take the course. Because, again, some limitations on what we can do as instructors in terms of offering flexibility. And because of the nature, once again, once that exam is sort of out there and proliferated, it's really impossible to have any integrity over the exam if I'm offering exams to most people on one day and then 3 days later an exam, which is the exact same exam to somebody else. It just doesn't work like that. So please take note of when the exam is going to be, at least the midterm, and then the final exam. People have to make sure that they're flexible and available. In all likelihood, the final exam will be it'll be on, actually, you know what, it's tough for me to say specifically. So it'll be during that week, right? That week that's listed up there, the 14th or the 22nd, it'll be during that time. Any questions about it? Hey, send me an email. That's what I'm here for, largely is to answer your email. So please do reach out if you have questions specifically about the exams and the dates and the times. Cool, thanks. The exams for both sections of this course are going to be conducted online, and we're going to be using a software called Proctorio. Now, it's semi-new to the college, but in effect, it's meant to help us maintain some level of integrity over the exams and prevent collusion or any kind of academic dishonesty at all, to the extent that we can. Now, there is going to be a quiz on using the exam software, and that's going to be required to be completed prior to the exam itself. The reason being, we can't have people coming into the exam at the time it's set up having never used the software for and then claiming, oh, I wasn't able to write the exam because I didn't know how the software worked. That's not a conversation we're going to have, because everyone is going to write the quiz. If you haven't done the quiz on the exam software, which is going to be an easy quiz, but you must do it. If you haven't written the quiz, you will not be eligible to write that exam. And further details of that will be presented to you as the course progresses. The exams are going to be closed book exams, and there will be a time limit on those exams. They'll be largely delivered through D2L using, like I said, this Proctorio software. Now, you may use calculator, pen, pencil, and there will be a limited reference sheet that you will have access to, which I will provide you with on D2L at the commencement of this course, and you'll be able to reference that if need be. Well, guys, we're all moderately new to this online course delivery to an extent. I mean, I've done a little bit before, maybe some of you have taken an online course before, but for large, contingency of you, this is going to be new and probably a little bit scary, and it's tough to necessarily know where to start. So let's talk about how you're going to organize each week of your time loosely in order so that you can be successful in the course. Now, every week, here are the things that I would recommend that you should do. Check the course outline. I didn't just make that up for like a make work project for me. It's for you guys. It's so you can keep abreast of what we're supposed to be doing on a week-to-week basis. So check that course outline for whatever the week's readings are, and make sure if there are any deadlines for you. You want to complete the readings in the assigned chapter. The readings aren't that hard. I gotta tell you, they're pretty straightforward, especially focus in on the material, the general course material, the specific parts about how to fill out various tax-related forms. Those are applicable when you're actually filling out a T4 or T5. Focus in on the knowledge itself, I think, if you're looking to utilize your time most wisely. Then I think you should watch those videos. Hey, I made them. Why not watch them? They're okay. They're not amazing. I'm not Quentin Tarantino producing amazing award-winning videos over here, but, they're somewhat illustrative, I would hope. And then there's some weekly problems. Why don't you try those weekly problems? They are in the course pack. There are lots of them. I went through all of them. They're mostly right. Try out those problems. Okay. Then you need to go over the solutions. If you're having any issues, you gotta let me know. Now there's gonna be quizzes as well. They're optional. I find that when things are optional, people tend to opt out of doing them, but I put them in there for you guys to be able to have more practice and be able to utilize some of the knowledge that you've picked up through your various readings, etc. So hopefully they're helpful for you, and I would really recommend that you take a look at those. Okay, so look at that. There's not that many things you got to do on a week-to-week basis. The readings are fairly light, I have to say. So hopefully this is manageable. If you're finding it's not manageable, send me an email. Let me know how you're doing. Cool. Hi everyone. So what I found over the past, oh gosh, I want to say 10 years of teaching tax as a job, that people come into it and they're students, I should say, and they're a little trepidatious. They're nervous because they don't have any experience with tax whatsoever. And people are nervous that because the word sounds onerous and it's something that you maybe have done every year or your parents have done for you and it just sounds like a scary thing, that you're already convinced you're not going to be successful, which is false. It's false. I probably felt the same way, I have to say, having no experience really with income tax when I entered into the accounting program initially, and hey, look at me now. If I can serve as any source of inspiration, it's that if I can do it, you can do it, okay? So how can I be successful? Of course you can. Here are my hot takes, guys. Read the entire chapter. Okay, now you do, if you have to focus your time, focus more on the knowledge components of, okay, this is some employment income, so learn about the employment income elements. There's a lot of information in there about how to fill out specific tax forms. Okay, that is important when you are going to actually work on those projects, but the focus should be all the knowledge stuff, and read all of it. Don't just skip over the little bits, okay? The chapter is assigned. We put all this stuff together for a reason. There's very little extraneous information in there. There should be information in there that is beneficial to you. If you need to rewatch the videos, rewatch the videos. I guess I don't have to tell you this, but if it didn't sink in the first time, watch it again, rewind it, pause it, whatever you need to do in order to get it to sink in. Now, when you go in to do these problems, don't spend a million years on your first try. Give it a reasonable effort. Pound through that problem and then go and check the solution. Because spending forever spinning your wheels on one specific item is not necessarily going to help you. Right? What you want to do is try that problem and then have a look over the solution. And then take the time to fix those responses. That's how it's going to sink in. I hate to tell you this, but you're going to get the problem wrong the first time. Okay, that's not guaranteed, but a lot of people are going to get the problem wrong the first time. And tax can be a frustrating subject, but every subject can be a frustrating subject if you don't know anything about it going into it. Believe me, you can get through it. I really don't think this is that hard a course, and that's having been based on having taught it several times now, and I've met all sorts of students who were convinced that they couldn't do it. I guarantee you, you can do this if you put in the time. So fix those responses. Hey, deadlines. I'm really strict about the deadlines. We're working in some weird environment here where, I don't get to meet you guys in person. All I have is what comes into my inbox. And commonly, I spend a lot of my time in any given semester talking to people about why they didn't do something on time and listening to the stories and then telling them that I can't accept it late and then having them really want me to accept it late and having this back and forth conversation. And that's not how I want to spend my time, and it's not a good way for you to spend your time. A good way for you to spend your time is to get things in on time. Please don't miss the deadlines. Don't put us in a weird situation where we have to have an uncomfortable conversation. The deadlines are all up there. They're going to be known well in advance. There's not going to be any surprises. The assignments are, I'll be as objective as possible here, incredibly easy. Okay, the T1 takes a little bit of work. The other ones, I hesitate to call them projects, right? You're filling out a couple tax forms. It's data entry. And so there's no reason you can't get started on that right away and be very successful at that. Just don't miss them. Okay. What happens if you're not doing so well? What should you do? Am I an approachable guy? It's hard to say. You don't physically have to approach me anymore. All you have to do is send me some kind of an email and I'll get back to you. And we can talk about it. If there's some instance in which we need to actually personally communicate, we can arrange to do things like that via these fun mediums that we've all discovered during these interesting past few months. Okay, so please don't hesitate to reach out. Look, I'm not a scary guy, am I? Look at all the toys I have. Look how much fun that is. I'm here to help. Okay, who can be like an unapproachable guy and have so many fun toys? So please do, okay? In all seriousness, I'm here. You guys can email me in 5 seconds on D2L. Contact me before you have some struggles with an exam. If you're struggling before you go into the exam, hey, contact me then. If you contact me after and say, hey, can you change my exam mark? what do you want me to do? Okay, so be practical and realistic about this, and take advantage of the resources that you have, of which I am one of those resources. Okay? Just to cap off this little intro video, I wanted to say good luck to you, and I wanted to offer some words of encouragement from the great Obi-Wan Kenobi. In my experience, there is no such thing as luck. You're not going to luck your way through this course. That's great, Obi-Wan. You're not going to luck your way through this course, right? You need to make your own luck. And by working really hard, practicing those problems, reaching out if you're having issues, you will make your own luck and you will be successful in this course. All right? So again, reach out to me if you have any questions at all. I wish you the best of luck in the course, and we'll talk soon via various media. Bye for now.